Giants fans, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Draft Show. Second time this season, 2 years running. This is a land where we never have enough intros, guys. How is it going? Truth, what's going on, brother?
It's going good. It's going really good. We're getting a little. I think it's day 70. We have 70 more days before the draft, so I'm getting psyched about it. Doing more research, like everybody else is. So I'm stoked.
Absolutely, Chris. What's going on? I mean, it's Mike and Mike. We're here every week, but of course, we love to cycle through everybody else from New York Giants Rush, and this is your week, and you get a very important spot. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great, guys. Glad to be on for this special show tonight with the draft. There's no off season, right, with the Giants or the NFL. We had the Super Bowl, and now we're getting right in the free agency in like 3 weeks, and then the draft. So, boy, a lot of stuff are happening. People, teams are going to clear up the cap soon. We're going to see guys get cut. There's already quarterbacks out there looking for jobs. So it's going to be a fun time of year. The off season, there is no off season. So
that's right.
I'm with you. No offseason. And then, guys, this is the offensive line episode, right? Our offensive line issues go back 10 years. I'll give you my view on the state of the Giants' offensive line right now. I don't think, all in all, it's that bad. I think compared to the last 5 years, like there were a few years there where, from 2018 to 2021, it was brutal to watch. It felt like they needed an overhaul every single season. Now, I think they obviously have a great left tackle, no questions asked. I like the guard rotation they have between Bredesen, Gates, and Glowinski. I know Glowinski's not perfect, but like if he's our worst offensive lineman going into next year, that's fine by me. And then right tackle, the issue is obviously Neal, but he's a young tackle. That was a very good prospect coming out of Alabama. I think he's going to take that step forward next year. Then comes the center component. That's our obvious biggest need on the offensive line position. So we need one full-blown replacement and then probably another guy maybe in the mid-draft at the tackle spot just in case Neal, if you go into year 2 and you're still not working out, say that you might be a bust. Truth, I want to hear your thoughts first. What's the state of the Giants' offensive line in your view?
Well, it's a lot better than it has been in years past, like you just said. I see promise. Of course, Andrew Thomas has turned the corner, and he's one of the elite tackles in this game. I know everybody was down on Neal, and he did have a lot of bad moments. But again, a rookie, big boy. I just need he gets to get in better shape. And, I think next year, after a little more fine-tuning, the game will slow down for him. I agree with you. The interior line is big. I think we need to get a center foremost and another lineman in the draft. And I can see the lineman that we're going to draft to be a little more versatile, can play multiple positions. That's what I'm seeing. And those are guys I'm having my eye on when I'm going to do my mock draft. So, overall, the offensive line's in the right direction going up.
Okay. Chris, thoughts on the O-line right now?
Yeah, I think, just to reiterate what you guys said, center position's been an issue for the longest time. They haven't addressed that in the draft since probably Weston Richburg. So, Gates is a free agent. Not sure if somebody else is going to grab him or he comes back. You'd like to see him come back, if nothing else, for depth. He plays hard. But I think, Zudu in the run game is going to be fine. The passing game, with him in pass pro, that's going to be something he needs to work on. And, he's coming back off IR. So I think that left guard spot in center, just like what you guys said, those need to be addressed. And Evan Neal, hopefully he takes a big step forward like Andrew Thomas this year.
Right. Yep. And, of course, the debate for center is, well, I don't even know if it's a debate because this is, an area of opinion. A couple of the needs that we have. Wide receiver, probably number one, me and Truth. Debate that a little bit, but obviously, if it's not one, it's two. Then the other one is inside linebacker, and then, of course, center. My thinking is if the Giants draft a wide receiver in the first round and they spend that upper tier free agent signing on, Tremaine Edmonds, right? They get him for $11 million, and they're bringing back Jones and Barkley. I don't think they're bringing like a $10 million center guy in. And I definitely think that's a position they're going to address like day 2 of the draft.
Yeah. And Mike, just to add in there, I didn't mention Feliciano. He's also a free agent. So I don't know if he's coming back as well. So, well, center's definitely going to be addressed.
I think I can go without seeing Feliciano, to be honest with you. I think it's just going to have to be a loss that I'm willing to afford at this point.
I'd rather see Gates than Feliciano come back. That's for sure.
Right. And by the way, I could imagine a situation where Gates comes back and has a full-blown all-pro year. I mean, he is that caliber of a guy. That injury obviously weighed him down. We'll see if it kind of keeps him a little bit hindered in the long run. He's still a phenomenal player. But anyway, look, we don't know what the Giants are going to do. And if any of these guys slide, tackle, center, guard, who knows what they're going to do? They're probably, you can never have enough good offensive linemen. And this is a very important show because it's a big need. Offensive linemen are overlooked a lot of time by the fans. If you get a guard in round 2, it's not as sexy as getting a wide receiver in round 2. I understand that. But, you look at a team like the Eagles, their staple is their offensive line. They are built to the trenches, and you can interchange so many athletic, quarterbacks and receivers because you have that in place. And that's what the Giants need. They need that level of protection for their quarterback.
Yeah, and another thing, if the Giants are going to commit to Daniel Jones, it doesn't make sense to fix that offensive line more to help him to be the best. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I tend to think that, if there's a situation where they don't bring Jones back, I don't see it happening. If that does happen, maybe they just forego drafting a quarterback at all this year. Maybe just get the offensive line 100% set, get the receivers set, and then the next year you go for a quarterback that Shane is truly in love with. That's probably what they're going to have to do because first of all, I don't even know if the quarterbacks are worth it this year. In truth, we got to talk about that later. But, yeah. What do you say we get right into it, guys? What do you say we dive right into the tackles first?
Okay.
We'll start with you, Chris. Everybody's got a guy tonight. For everybody that's watching, between Truth and Chris, they're going to individually break them down and talk about what their strengths are. So first and foremost, Chris, Paris Johnson, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. What'd you like about this dude? Because he's getting high touts, and Ohio State's got a couple of linemen this year.
Yeah, with Paris Johnson, he's probably your most well-balanced tackle that's coming in out of the draft. It's 6'6", 310. He also played guard in 2021. Very good athletic-wise, very good length, light on his feet, sinks his hips well, balanced run blocker, sustains his blocks, physical. He's a smooth transition into the second level, very intelligent. What I liked watching the film on Paris Johnson is, he doesn't have really any big negatives in his game. Yeah, there's stuff that he needs to work on, maybe with hand placement, pad level, normal stuff. But smooth and pass pro, he's very aggressive. But, he's probably not going to fall to the Giants. But I think if you're that team, and obviously with Evan Neal, it's not going to be somebody would probably go after. But if he did fall, maybe he goes back to playing guard. I don't think so. But if you want to talk about the most well-balanced tackle in the draft, you're probably going to have to say it's Paris Johnson. Some of the things he needs to work better on is maybe the hand placement, especially in the running game, latching on a little bit better grip strength would help. It maybe needs to anchor down a little bit better. Looking at his film and hearing some of the other reports on him, he needs to be a little bit better with his anchor. But overall, he's definitely the best tackle. The consensus seems he's the best tackle coming out in the draft.
It's funny; those sound like the things that held Andrew Thomas back in his first year. Things that can totally be overcome a little bit easier than, sometimes the technicalities or their responsiveness. So very interesting. And another guy, Chris, that we got to talk about because he's highly touted and very similar, guard tackle, is Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. He may have been the only talented player on the entire Northwestern team last year. They were awful.
Yeah. What's interesting about Peter Skoronski is that, because of the length, he's almost like a Justin Pugh in a way. He comes under 33-inch arm length. So a lot of reports out there say, he might be better at the NFL level as a guard. But, you have to look at a Rashawn Slater who came out of the same school, also came out under 33-inch length. And, Slater turned out to be a good tackle. But the nice part about nice part about Skoransky, if he were to fall to the Giants, if that were to happen in the first round, because he may go the end of the first, is that he's played guard. And you do have that insurance policy if Evan Neal didn't work out at right tackle. But a couple things on Skoransky. You're looking at a 2-year starter. He explodes off the snap, especially in the running game, gets out of his stance real quick, transitions well to the second level, very good agility, good footwork, moves laterally well, probably better in pass protection than he is in the running game. His pad level seems to be pretty good, anchors down well, but not great, takes good angles in the passing game. Some of the things that he may not be good at. He's not a powerful punch. He's not a powerful guy, even though he's 6'4", 310. He doesn't appear to have that strength that you'd maybe want somebody at the guard position if that's where he's going to play. So he might be better suited at tackle just because you just don't see the punch, you don't see the power at that size. Needs better hand placement, even though he does grip on well. His hand placement sometimes go outside the pads. But overall, I mean, he's going to be probably end of the first round. I could see him going into the first round. But once again, somebody that wants to plug him in at guard or tackle, I think you have an option there. And if he doesn't work out at tackle, I think guard could be a place where he finds a home if it doesn't work out at tackle. So definitely insurance there with Skoransky playing guard.
Well, I got to tell you something. I mean, the one thing that I love is here in Northwestern, because just like Rashawn Slater, the intelligence you need to play for that program. They're not messing around when it comes to having smart offensive linemen. Slater was the exact same way. And it's very crucial in the NFL, to have offensive linemen that are smart. You remember when we had David Deal on the show, and he was talking about him and Kareem McKenzie. They would yell out probabilities with each other about what they're anticipating with the rush or the percent chance that they would have a rush or a blitz. And that's very underrated. We don't talk about it. Sometimes I'm a former lineman myself. Sometimes I think that, offensive linemen are just kind of going and, going with their assignments, but there's a lot that goes into it, which does make me wonder, could he play center, you think?
Yeah, it doesn't say that he actually played center. He transitioned from guard to tackle. But, we've seen guards before. Nick Gates never played center before, and he was doing that as well. Shane Lemieux as well. So, but I think the more flexibility you have as an offensive lineman in the more positions. But it would be interesting if he was there at 25, if the Giants didn't go with a receiver, do they view him as a guard? Because he would be a guy you could plug right in there. He's probably better in the zone running game than he is in a power running game. So that may, be a factor as well. But, the length could be something that they take issue with, being that he doesn't have the length.
Okay. Then maybe guard works best. But all right. Yeah, fair enough. No, I'd like to hear it. We'd be very lucky if you fell back to us, but I don't think he will.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So let me shift this over to you, Truth. One of the tackles you want to talk about, Broderick Jones?
Yes, Broderick Jones. And first, before I start, every single one we're going to talk about today could be drafted in the first round, especially when I get to the next few guys. It's a possibility we get 5 tackles taken in the first round. Broderick Jones is out of Georgia. He's been titled by many scouts as the most athletic tackle in this draft, and that could be debatable. He's got long arms, which is always a plus for any tackle, and he's very what's the right word? Stable with his footwork. He has good footwork and good hands, and he's a guy that I think that could go right in and plug and play. Whoever drafts him, and I think that guy, along with who Chris mentioned earlier, Paris Johnson, I think those guys could be one of the first 2 guys tackled off the board.
Yeah. Played a critical role there for Georgia's national championship winning team 2 years in a row, too. Is he a 2-year starter?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, anytime you're playing the SEC, you're playing good competition, right? We all know that.
Oh, yeah, 2 years of it, too. I mean, there's guys that are 1-year stars at Alabama that are going to the next level, right? So he's cycled through, and he's probably experienced a multitude of versatility and strength and whatnot. So,
yeah,
very impressive.
And that's what benefited Andrew Thomas. He started out at different positions, right guard and tackle, and I think that was one of the main reasons why he was drafted, because he was probably the most suitable left tackle coming out of the draft. That's why they took him, because that was their biggest need at the time.
Right. Right.
Next guy, who you going to give me?
Anton Harrison out of Oklahoma is the guy you wanted to cover tonight.
Yeah, I like this kid. I saw a little bit of his film. Got good size. Another one of those guys with long arms, but he needs work. A little bit of footwork he needs, but he's got a good strength. And I think with him, his like a lot of these linemen, his blocking and run support's much better than pass protection. So he'll have to learn a little bit to get better in that. But here's another guy who gets in the right system. He can see a lot of playing time. I don't know if he'll be an instant starter, but he'll see a lot of playing time when he gets drafted, and he'll be a good contributor his rookie year.
For sure. Well, here's another guy, Truth. And this is very interesting. It's not very common when a team has two tackles that are very highly touted, which actually kind of presents an opportunity. It's pretty unique when you hear a guy playing right tackle as an elite prospect, because quite often what happens is, they get drafted as a left tackle and shift to right tackle.
Right.
So Dawand Jones out of Ohio State is exactly what I'm talking about here. How attractive is he for a team that needs a right tackle, is drafting maybe at 30, and is like, hey, here's a guy that's available right now that has experience playing right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy who I see getting. He can definitely go in the first round, late in the first round, maybe early second, and that's a luxury pick. If he's there and you need help on the offensive line, I mean, this guy's a mountain of a man. He did very well during the senior week in his one-on-one drills, and we talk about how big Evan Neal is. This guy's even bigger than him, and I think that will be a little bit of an issue when he gets in the pro level, just like Neal. Against fast edge rushes, he's gonna have to work on his footwork. Probably needs to get a little better with his endurance, conditioning. He'll probably have to lose a little weight, but he'll still be a big man. He'll still be able to play at the NFL level. But I think he'll need a little more time to do that, let the game slow down a little bit for him.
Yeah, he's 6'8". I mean, it's but I wonder if his background is he played basketball and then a coach told him he'd have better luck in football.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I know he's got a really big wingspan, like
right.
7'5", something like that. It's like it's amazing, and he utilizes very well. He keeps the defender off his body, and which is going to help him, so he doesn't have to lunge, just stretch those arms out.
Totally. And then one last question. I mean, because the one concern that people are going to have is like, oh, he wasn't even the best tackle on his team. He's playing right tackle. Therefore, he's not going against the best edges in college football, like Paris Johnson would have experienced. Do you take that into consideration, or do you think that's a wash, Truth?
Well, listen, do I think Johnson is better than him at this moment? Yes. And there's a reason why Johnson was at left tackle and this kid was at right tackle. But it doesn't diminish that this kid could be an NFL player. It could be a starter in the NFL. I think he can be, but I don't think his road to success is going to be as quick as Johnson.
Gotcha. Fair enough. It's just that people are going to be like, oh, he's playing right tackle. He's not going against the best edges of Michigan and Wisconsin.
Keep in mind, Spartan. I mean, nowadays you got to have both sides. You got to be able to,
right.
They blitz. They have rushers on either side now of the ball. It's not only for the blind side anymore. They don't do that anymore.
Gotcha. They're shifting. They're shifting. Left and right. They might rotate. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we got through our tackles, and real quick, I just want to shout out to everybody that's here tonight. Let's go through the top here. Mark, what's going on? Wouldn't be surprised if the Giants drafted cornerback in round 1. I would not be either, although that's not probably where I'm thinking. Jay Ferries, what's going up, man? I saw this comment very early on. Schmitz in round 2. I like that. We're going to get into Schmitz in a little bit. Mark, good night, guys. Looking forward to the discussion. Mark, we always appreciate you coming through, man. And we're going to have Mark on, by the way, Giants fans. Mark's going to join us. I forgot what position we're going to break down with him. But we're very excited to have Mark on. He's been on our show before for the draft night. And he knows a lot himself and does a lot of homework. So very excited to have him on. Real Cold G, dude, it is always great to have you. The funniest fan that we have. Love you on Twitter, man.
Yep.
Peter, what's happening, brother? Inside linebacker Mike.
Yep.
I meant to show Kelly Fisher, but then I put up, hey, Kelly Fisher. Sorry about that. Kelly, how's it going? All right. Don't want to miss anybody. All right, guys. Well, look. All right, so we finished up on the tackles. Now I think the next thing we should do here is go on to guards because we're going in order of importance. I think center is going to be the offensive line, the area of most need right now for the Giants and most likely draft. Doesn't mean they're not going to go for a guard, though. So, Chris, we'll hand it back over to you. Osiris Torrence out of Florida. Tell me about this guy.
Yeah, so
Got a badass name.
yeah, really. So when you look at Osiris, probably, in my opinion, just the guys we're looking at guard, he's going to be he's probably one of the best out there that's going to get drafted. Probably, in my opinion, second day. He looks like a second round guy at 6'5", 347 pounds. Hasn't reached his full potential. That's what everybody's saying coming out of college. Dominant in the running game, strength, physicality at the point of attack, big body, heavy hands. He latches onto you. Good grip strength. Plays angry at the guard position, which you want. Not the quickest guy, not the most agile, but once he latches onto you, you're done. He'll drive you into the ground. Powerful with great length, has a big frame. Opens his hips well. Okay, so he opens his hips, drops his hips, sinks down pad level. We said about his massive frame. Decent athletic wise, not elite, but good enough.
Yeah.
Loves to climb to the second level, so he likes to take on those linebackers, safeties coming up in the box. Run blocking, awesome. Pass blocking needs a little improvement. Change of direction, not great. Grip strength, very good. Plays tall at times. That's probably his biggest negative, is that his pad level. Although he'll drop his hips and get his pad level in the running game, does a good job. It seems like in the passing game, he stands a little tall and his pad level's a little high. But overall, I mean, this looks like, to me, just what I read and saw on the tape, that he looks like a second day guy off the board.
It's got a bit of a, it's funny. Like, you look at a guy like that, and it's like, man, when he gets that NFL level nutritionist, he's going to be in good shape because he's got a little bit of a gut right now. And for a guard, he can afford to kind of lose that just for the athletic component. Very impressive that he's athletic as it is with his stature. But, I mean, I'm looking at this dude, and it's like he's going to go to the NFL, and he's going to get built properly. So, very impressive that he gets to the linebacker level because it's very challenging for some guards.
Yeah, not the quickest, but plays with a lot of intensity, a lot of effort, and he plays angry, which you want as a guard.
We want to take on those linebackers, man. I mean, when you play angry, it does help. People think it's just kind of like an emotion. It's not. It does assist you in your game to get angry and get pissed off.
And at that size, I don't know if you're going to see him pulling too much, right? At 6'5", 347, he's a guy that's just gonna, he's gonna lower his hips and move straight ahead. I don't know if you're going to see him pulling at 6'5", 347. So he's going to have to fit the right system as well. Not that zone running game, that power running game right up the middle.
Right,
for sure,
between the gaps.
Well, the next guy I'm very excited to talk about, because we're talking about now a TCU guy, and TCU obviously is coming off, easily the best season in program history. Unbelievable what they pulled off this year. Very happy they beat Michigan and went to the championship. So tell me something. Here we go. We got a guard right now. Played on a very high-power offense where a lot of guys are going to go in the first round. What made this dude so special, and how much did he personally elevate the offense of TCU?
Yeah, so we're talking about Steve Avila. What's interesting, and I like this guy because he's played center, and now he's going to be projected as a guard. He played guard in 2022. But when you talk about a mauler in the running game, he's not a mauler in the running game. That's the guy from Michigan we'll get to. This guy, Steve Avila, is probably better in the passing game. The running game, believe it or not, is what he needs to probably work on better. His pad level's high. He doesn't drive as well in the running game, but in a passing league, plays awesome in the in the passing in the passing game. Physical, quick feet, fantastic length in pass protection, anchors well in pass protection, very balanced, good size, upper body strength. Not the best range in the running game laterally, but he does have a top end explosion. Plays with good leverage, good burst to the second level, but his mobility laterally is not great, but good enough. But when you talk about grip strength at the guard position, powerful grip strength. Once he latches onto you, he drives you into the ground. So I think the biggest thing with Avila is that pad level a little bit high. it seems, and his punch could be better. For a guy this size, you think his punch would be a little more powerful, and that seems to be the consensus on him, that he could be a little bit better with his punch. But definitely, you can plug him in pass pro, but the running game definitely going to have to be a little bit better with driving and latching on with the hands.
Hey, Chris, you just got insulted by Jay Ferries. He called you Mel Kiper.
Oh, really? Not quite.
First,
not
quite.
quite.
I realized, Mel Kiper.
Like 4 days. This is like 3 days of
I know
looking.
you meant that as a compliment, but Kiper does pretty bad when he projects.
Yeah, right. I'll take it as 50% good.
But it should be a compliment, Chris, because he does have a point. I mean, you come on the show and you're talking a lot of information about these players. You have pretty good evaluation. It's not everybody's like that when it comes to evaluation. So it is a pleasure having you. And then it's you and Truth, and you do this for fun. You will watch these players regardless of whether or not we have a draft show or not.
Yeah,
everybody in the Truth like last year. People went to the Ravens. That should show you something. Surprised they haven't made an offer yet. Here we go. He clarified the comment. He is ESPN worthy. That's what I meant.
Oh,
correct.
Hey, that's what happens. 3 days of prep. That's all. Kuiper does it for a year. I do it in 3 days.
There we go. All right. So, Truth, over to you now, man. Cody Mauch, this is not the first time we've talked about him. Anything else to add from the last time? And again, we have more people watching right now, so go tell the world about this North Dakota State dude.
Well, this kid definitely helped his cause in the senior week. Many mock drafts had him on day 3, and suddenly now he's early day 2 in the draft. The kid is played multiple positions, played tackle and played guard at North Dakota State, and I think he's going to transition to guard based on his size, shorter arms, and he's a brawler. He is. We talked about this last week. He's a prototypical looking lineman. He's got the long, greasy looking hair, and looks like he doesn't bathe for a few days.
He looks like a Viking, man. He looks like a Viking canoe and is ready to just tear shit up.
Right. It looks like he has a couple of teeth missing. I mean, John Madden would have loved this kid.
Couple screws. Yeah, you always want, you love a smart lineman, but that doesn't mean you don't want a couple screws loose in the head. Like, you want them to be insane smart. You know what I'm saying? You want to be like Frankenstein smart. You don't want him to be a dummy. You don't want him to be like a very well-composed person. You want a little insanity in the dude. And I think he's got just that. And
I'll tell you what, when I watched him on one-on-one drills, he kept his feet underneath him. He kept his hands, he locked in on the inside. He really looked in control. And I was very impressed with him. I knew of him, but not a lot of him. And I started doing more research after the senior week. And this kid's a good player. And he looks like, on film anyway, that he plays to the whistle, and he's good in open space too. Downfield, he blocks. He doesn't give up. And that's what you want to see when you watch these guys. Offensive line, they stay on their blocks, and he does that.
He looks like he's going to have Daniel Jones's back in a bar fight in Hoboken.
Oh, yeah. Him and Gates, I love to have those guys next to me.
Yeah. That would be top-notch security, no doubt about it. But he is, all jokes aside, he is a phenomenal player. Everybody talks about he's playing North Dakota State, not the best competition in the world. So be it. He did go to the Senior Bowl and have a very impressive week. So it's something to look forward to. Day 2 guy, I would have to imagine, right, Truth?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to be. And again, we still have the combine. If these guys show up good agility skill sets, it does make a difference. It changes a lot of scouts' minds when they draft you.
Agreed. Real quick, we got some. All right, Mark is in the house. Mark, what is going on, my friend? We got more comments on Craig's hair. Saying Cody Mauch has Craig's hair. I don't know about that. Cody Mauch's got ginger hair. It's a whole different flow. He's got like the Palomalu hair, but it's orange.
And Mark has the same last name as me.
Hey, how about it that? All right. Darius Smith, Controlled Chaos, essentially agree. Craig's hair, bro. Nobody has Craig's hair. I agree. Craig's got the Edward Scissorhands look, man. Nobody has that. All right, moving on. Andrew Vorhees at USC. Talk to me about the Pac. I think the only Pac-12 guy on the whole list.
Yeah, that's what I saw. He's a good player. He's got good size, 6'6", 325. And, he has played both guard positions. He does everything well, not great, but well. Like all these prospects, he could work on his footwork, work on his hand placement, but he's a big, strong guy. And, in the right system, he'll do fine. Good rotational lineman to start his rookie year, and he'll have to earn it. But I see a good future for him in the NFL. He's a good player.
For sure. What day is he going? Because if of all the people on the list, it was a little tough to find him.
I see early day three, like round 4 or 5. That's what I see.
Well, good chance the Giants get him then. I mean, again, if we're talking at that level, I mean, we're talking the top guards, centers, and whatnot. But I mean, if any of these guys slide, I mean, that gives the Giants an opportunity if it's not a top need,
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind, how the draft unfolds on day one. Day one's huge. The first half of that draft, if it falls the way people expect it's going to fall, there's going to a lot of talent's going to be pushed into the second round, just like it was last year and the year before. It happens all the time, guys. So, it all depends on that first, maybe day and a half draft goes. First 50 guys will determine. This kid could go end of the third round, but I see
Evers, right? I mean, we talked about him last year, and he went on. He was a 7th round, which was surprising for all of us.
Yeah, 6th round he went, but I thought he'd be a late 3rd round. I really did.
I agree.
And I can't wait to see this kid when he comes back to play.
Well, how about our last guard on the list here, Emil Ekiyor out of Alabama? What are your thoughts on him? Alabama's always raking in with pretty good offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I know we think defense first with Alabama, but they always produce solid offensive linemen. So tell me about this guy.
He's quick off the snap, and he's to me he's a guard and a good blocking guard. Not a great pass protector, and really playing for Alabama, he didn't really have to, take long to block there for the quarterback because didn't have to worry about pass blocking so much. More of a run blocker. He'll need to work on his pass defending and pass protection, but he's a good player. He played against great competition, and I could definitely see him catching on to a team and being a good rotational and possibly starting into the second year. I don't know about the first year though.
Okay. Might be a little bit more of like a per player. Yeah, Pert if he were a little bit better and kind of get up to speed.
Yeah. I think I mean, I think he'll see a lot of snaps when his rookie year. Hard worker. This is what I've heard. Hard worker. And pretty good fundamentals. So and those things go a long way when you're learning, especially at the NFL level when everything's fast and everything's happened so quickly. So he'll just have to go through the growing pains, but he'll be fine.
All right, fair enough. Well, guys, look, I mean, so we talked about some of the guards. Now we're at the spot where it's most critical to talk about because I truly believe on day 2, the Giants are going center. I don't think they're going to sign a guy. I think they're going to sign an inside linebacker, draft a wide receiver with the first pick, and then my guess is with that second pick, they go center. So let's start from the top. Chris, you're going with a very highly touted player right here, John Michael Schmitz.
Yeah.
Minnesota guy. Now, they're not a perennial powerhouse in football, but, again, he's another Midwestern guy that could provide some value. So tell me about him. Jay Ferry's in the comments section brought him up. And we know a lot of people are looking at him. And quite honestly, very good chance the Giants draft him.
Yeah, when you look at that center position, there really isn't like a Tyler Linderbaum from last year. So I think he could fall to that second day. But when you look at John Michael Smith, he's, believe it or not, a 6th-year senior. So he, with the COVID, extra year and being redshirted, this is his 6th year. So he's a 6-year senior. So he's completely the opposite of the other guy we're going to talk about from Michigan. Smith is a technician. He's not the big. He's at 6'4", 320. You'd think he would be a lot stronger, but he's not the powerful guy. He's not a guy that's going to blow you off the ball. He's more of a technician when it comes to the details. So he's technique awesome in running the passing game. He's mobile. He's athletic, smooth moving laterally, good hand placement, but not overly strong with grip strength. Good burst off the snap, flips his hips well. Good range. Inside leverage is good. Technically sound. So that's the feeling, and what I've seen from Schmitz is that he's a technician. Details, very smart. He can read the twists, the stunts. He calls them at the line. So you got a guy with a very high IQ, very intelligent. But once again, he's a technician. He's not a guy that's going to be powerful. He's not going to be strong with grip strength. He's not going to drive guys into the ground. I don't know if you even see him as I don't want to say I think he could probably be a starter, but I don't think you're looking at a guy that's going to be a Pro Bowler or an All-Pro. I think he's a guy you could put in there and he'll do a good job. But I don't think I'm concerned with him with the tackles with the zero technique. When you get that nose tackle right over center, I think he could possibly be overpowered. But
doesn't hold his weight.
Yeah, I mean Tyler Linderbaum, right? Similar to that was the knock on him was because he was light, but I think Schmitz is probably going to be better served in an outside running game rather than going with a power running game, just because that's not his game. He's not the big powerful center that maybe some teams are looking at. I think zone running team would probably be better served with a guy like Schmitz.
Fair enough. Tell me about the Michigan guy, Olsegun Oluwatimi. Sorry about that.
Oluwatimi. Yeah, this guy, I think this guy is going to be a day 2, maybe even a day 3, believe it or not. Yeah, 2 trophy, Remington Trophy winner. Also the Outland Award for best interior lineman in the Big Ten. But 4-year starter. So yeah, let me just say that I think he could be a day 2. So he will be available, I think, when the Giants are there in the 2nd or 3rd round. But 4-year starter, originally out of Virginia, transferred to Michigan in his junior year, 2019. He plays aggressive, angry, fantastic blocker in the run game. The knock on him is he probably doesn't drive well enough and doesn't finish. He needs to finish better, but has all the tools. He probably has, out of the guards that I've seen and read about and looked on tape. Well, it's hard to see on tape sometimes, but probably the best grip strength. I mean, when he latches onto you, you're done. He drives you into the ground. Hands are always inside. It doesn't seem like he's reaching around the pads. Good bend, good leverage, the strong hands. I mean, that's the thing that jumped off with him. Picks up stunts well, recognizes this very well. Good awareness, but I think he plays from a lot of the tape that I seen on the 22 they were showing. He seems like in the running game, his pads get up high as well. So I think pad level is I would say a concern, but that's one of the things he needs to work on. But in terms of angry nastiness coming off the ball, this guy is going to do the job. I think just the grip strength alone, once he gets his hands on you, you're done.
He sounds pretty intriguing. I mean, I guess I looked him up. He went to DeMatha Catholic, which is very, very good program in the DC area for football. And to win that award, the best lineman in the Big Ten, guys, there's 15 guys we're covering tonight. 7 of them are Big Ten players. So for him to win that award is freaking huge.
Yeah,
so
I mean, there's a lot
very
coming
impressive. He sounds like he's a smart guy from what I'm hearing too. Which again, I mean, for a center is what we want.
Yeah, yeah, and it makes you wonder why he may be going later. Because I think a lot of these guys we're projecting may go a little bit later due to the other depth of the positions in this draft. You kind of wonder.
Yeah, I think the little knock on him, besides the high pad level, is he's not the most athletic guy. He's a lumber. He kind of lumbers around. He's big, but he's not a guy that's going to be the athletic, gifted center. Pulling, moving a lot. And I think that's the negative on him. If you're not looking for that athletic center, I think you got it all with him. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to pull and go downfield second level with athleticism, he's not going to be that guy. But he will get to the second level. He's just going to maul the guys in front of him. That's we're looking for the angry nastiness, get those claws on you. Once he latches, you're done. And if he can get those hands inside the pads, you're finished. And I think that's
Saquon that interior lane. I mean, we'll see a lot more big bursts from him up the middle. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, look, I think the other knock is that I think he's 6'2.5". Like he's a little bit shy of like what people want for a center.
Yeah, a lot of these measurements are off, so we have to understand that.
Right. But if he's good, I mean, Jeff Saturday was not very tall, and he was a dominant player. So if that's what it comes down to, very happy if the Giants take this guy.
Yeah, Lindenbaum was undersized compared to what everyone says, but he did pretty well as his rookie year, didn't he?
Yeah,
very.
Yeah, and unlike Linderbaum, this guy's more of a power center. So you're going to see.
And you see him starting in his rookie year, Chris?
I think if you were to plug him into the Giants right now, I think he'd have a good chance. The guys that we have now, I think he would have a good chance to compete and start.
Here's a good question from Peter, and I want both your opinions. Is it possible we just put Gates at center and focus on drafting a guard? What are your thoughts?
I think it's possible to do that, but I still think we should draft a center, even if you put Gates, because there's no telling how long Gates will be with the team. We don't know.
You know what's interesting? Yep. I was going to say, going off that truth, this is all going to be predicated with free agency because, a guy like Zietler's out there. I mean, maybe Shane pulls something off and actually brings in a guard. So I think getting through free agency, if they don't, pick up a guard and they believe that Azudu is the guy at left guard, then the centers, it seems like they're not top heavy in the first round, that these centers are going to go second in day 3 and 4. So
yeah, I think so
day
too.
2 and 3. I think there'll be enough out there.
Yeah, and I think Shane does like the other kid from North Carolina who was hurt last year.
McKeithen, yeah, right.
They like him a lot.
Right.
So,
but I'm with you guys. I think center is going to be the spot that they pull the trigger on in the draft, in my opinion.
That's my guess. That's my best guess. Again, I'm thinking they go receiver day 1, center day 2, signing a middle linebacker. That's my thinking.
Well, Mike, to piggyback you, if they did that, then it wouldn't make sense to go, like I said, inside linebacker in round 1. If they did get an inside linebacker in the free agency, then you're right. Then you don't get an inside linebacker. Then,
Yeah. All right. So, Truth, over to you now for the last few centers here. Another Ohio State guy. That's 3 on the list. Luke Wypler, man.
You wonder why they're so good, right?
Yeah, it's funny though. When I watched them last year, they didn't. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to individual players, but I wasn't that impressed by Ohio State's O-line unit as a whole, and they got ripped to shreds by Michigan.
Well, yeah, Michigan. That one game that was phenomenal. Michigan played the best football of their life that game. They really did.
Yeah,
really
and then
did.
of course went and played TCU, which just completely tanked. But it's neither here nor there.
If they got to play defense, that was the problem. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Tell me about Wypler.
Well, Luke, I think it's pronounced Whippler.
Okay, that sounds way cooler. Whippler it is.
And he was like the steady force for that offensive line. He's a good quality center. He's not big like the other, same size as the guy from Michigan. As a matter of fact, 6'3", 300 pounds. But he's very good technique wise, and that's how he's going to play the game when he gets to the next level. He's not going to overpower. He's not going to be mauling a nose guard. Not going to pancake him. He's going to use footwork. He's going to get angles on him, just like Tannenbaum did. Lindbaum did. So,
hey, Truth, if I can interrupt, he's a Jersey kid from St. Joe's Regional in Bergen County.
Man, that's something I didn't know. I didn't know that. So it can't be all bad, right?
Giants, Giants be dumb not to at least check him out. He's right here.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm sure they will. And I think that kid, I see that kid. I think I have him as a round 3. Could be 4. Again, we don't know how the first 50 are going to go. That's always a crapshoot. So, but I see this kid being a good quality NFL center. And if he goes to the Giants, I can see him starting. If he goes if they don't bring Gates back, I could definitely see him starting.
Yeah.
And he's a young guy, right? Truth, am I wrong? This was only his sophomore year, and he declared for the draft.
Yeah, he was a red shirt, wasn't he? Wasn't he a red shirt one year? So he's a red shirt sophomore. So that's why he's eligible. He's a junior, really a junior. Yeah.
Right. Well, he's got a lot of growth, right? I mean, we're going to see this guy.
He could get stronger, right? Get a little more man strength in him, like a lot of these kids are going to get.
Yeah.
What about Joe? Now, here's the thing. I mean, Wisconsin is not from about 2007 to 2014, 13, 14. I mean, Wisconsin was the greatest offensive lineman powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely.
It hasn't really been that way in the last few years. They still have a good prospect that comes out every now and then. I almost want to say I was taking them over a little bit in that range. But Joe Tipmann was a pretty phenomenal player, right? So tell me about this guy.
Yeah, a big boy. I have him 6'6", 320, and he's got very athletic. He's very good when he reads stunts and his assignments. He's a very smart player, which you need to be. And that's the kind of guy that Joe Shane likes, by the way. He likes players who are football intelligence. And here's a kid, again, coming from a college that is known for their offensive linemen. And again, here's a kid, day 3, somewhere 4th, 5th round. But that's where you get quality linemen. You know, you don't have to be a first-round pick. And I think this kid Tipmann can definitely be a starter if the Giants do decide to draft him. Good blocker on both sides with the pass and with the running game. And if I had to put one knock on him, maybe, sometimes he doesn't finish his blocks. But, that could be taught. I'm not going to be too concerned over that right now. Once he gets good coaching under his belt, you'll see him flourish.
He has a mullet at times. He's had a mullet before, and I don't know what makes it better offensive line, mullet or long hair like Mark has. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Oh man. Yeah, the mullet, that just screams craziness. You're crazy.
Coming back the mullet?
Yeah, maybe the mullet. Maybe the mullet. Maybe you got to go with the mullet.
Okay, mullet.
Especially at center. I mean, at center, that could be intimidating. The anchor of the line. You got the mullet.
Right. Truth. What are you thinking, mullet or the Jesus, long hair or whatever?
I don't know. I just want to see that. I just want to see him come in and block.
Right.
Block for Daniel.
There you go. Right.
Block for Barkley. I don't care if he's got hair curls in his hair. I don't care. I really don't.
I'd be a little disappointed if he had a man bun. Like I don't really think that's.
I don't like those. I'm sorry. I don't like.
Regardless, we need one with a beard. We need a full beard. Like
like this and a little beard.
I mean, the reason I never made it was because I couldn't grow facial hair. It wasn't because I wasn't good. But anyway, Jay Ferries has a good point. The only hair that can be discussed on the show is Craig's. We do end up talking about hair a lot.
Yeah.
All right, last one we got here, guys. Ricky Stromberg out of Arkansas. All right. Truth, all you, man. Tell me about him.
Well, the first thing that I saw in a lot of scouting reports, he's got a very high football IQ, and he's quick off the snap. That's the first 2 things that I saw in many of the scouting reports on this kid. I did watch film on him, and he looks sound to me. The film I saw. He moves his feet well. He gets into the position with his arms underneath, his hands locked in. He's very good. I thought I saw one game when he played against who did he play against? It's escaping me in my mind right now. But he
jersey.
What's that?
What color's the jersey? I can help you out.
Oh God, I don't know. I think the jersey. They had white, so he was wearing red. The other team had white, maybe blue letters.
Kentucky. He was playing Kentucky.
He might have been playing Kentucky. And he did really well in the secondary. When you see him snap, you see him go take on the linebacker, then you see him move on after that, and you see him going after a safety. So he doesn't quit on a play. He could be like the underdog center of this draft, when no one really expects him to do anything, because he's 5th on my list for centers. But I think this kid could be a good player.
Fair enough. All right, guys. That brings us to a wrap for our offensive line talk tonight. Any final thoughts on the offensive line between either of you guys right now?
Well, Chris, you go first if you want.
Yeah, I just looking at we don't really usually see centers getting drafted in the first round. We saw Linderbaum last year, so I think this plays well into the Giants' hands. There are going to be some good guys available. A few of them going into day 2, day 3. So I think the Giants will definitely have, if nothing else, a depth piece, on day 3 if they decided to go that way. So I do anticipate the Giants at some point getting a center in this draft, because I don't see them doing that in free agency. If anything, I would think I'm thinking more of a guard in free agency than a center.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not
There's
seeing.
all
I'm
good
not seeing
options in center,
center.
though.
You're
We
right.
talked about it. There's good centers available. It's just that, what would you rather do at that point? They're gonna have to think between the linebacker and center because I don't think there's very good options at wide receiver.
Right.
In free
Agreed.
agency, no. Like I've said this many times now about the draft. The first 50 picks. You're looking at cornerback, you're looking at wide receiver, you're looking at tackles, and of course quarterbacks. The first 50 picks, you're going to see those four positions. You're going to see a lot of guys taken. Some will have more than others, so that's going to push the centers back, the guards back. It's going to push the running backs back, all these other guys, the tight ends back. Probably going to see one tight end taken in round one, possibly maybe two, if there's a big need, but probably only one. You're not going to see many running backs, maybe one taken in round one. That's the kid out of Texas, right? Robinson.
Yeah.
So I think that bodes well for the Giants. If that
Eagles
happens,
will likely draft that guy at 32 or 31.
who?
The Texas running back.
Do you think he's going at 31? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I see between 20 and 30 as well. I don't know. It all depends again how the draft. I heard Baltimore might want to get him. I heard that one.
Buffalo would be a good candidate too. I mean,
Buffalo would be. Yep.
And we're going way off topic. I know we got time, but if you're going running back, you got to have every other position set. You got to be ready to win the Super Bowl.
Right. But getting back to the other positions, if the first 50 are taken, all those guys, those quality positions, fill up those first 50, the Giants really, they're going to have 3 picks then. They're going to have the 1 in the second, 2 in the third from 50 on, and you're going to see a lot of talented prospects there. Yeah. And they can get, the first 3 rounds, they can get guys who could come in and play on day one. And that's always, the best scenario for you when you're a GM.
Yep. Guys, real quick, there's one question. Just go with both of you. Just give, make it short and sweet. Who's the best center for the Giants to get, in your opinion?
I think it's no brainer. Yeah, Mike, I think you're going to say same thing I'm going to say, but go ahead.
I'm actually going with Olsegun, the Michigan guy.
That's who you're going?
But I'm actually going to go with him. I think Michael Schmitz is good. I think there's a couple things that worry me a little bit about him, but go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Chris, you go first.
Yeah, well, let me just say the guy from Ohio State, from Jersey, Whippler, right?
Yeah.
He intrigues me because he's so young, and I feel like his ceiling is high. And I looked, I was looking into him as well, doing some of the research on these centers. And man, I'll tell you what, I think if the Giants were in a position to take a flyer on him later rounds, I'm saying if he was there at round 4, man, he may not be a guy that's going to start right away, but I think when he adds some more weight on, it just seems like he's going to be that power center with great value later rounds. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Olsegun Oluwatimi from Michigan, just because I love his power running game and those hands, those death grip hands. When he latches on you, it's over. So he may not be the most athletic. You're not going to want him maybe to pull as much, but you're going to. I think in that power running game, he's the guy. And passing game, I think he'll be fine. Just got to work on the pad level a little bit.
Okay. Truth.
Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubbles. I'm probably going to go with Michael Schmitz. If he's there in round 2 for them, I think they're going to grab him. I do. But if they don't, there's other guys like, that other guy from Michigan is a good player, and Whippler, I think, is a good player too. Even Tipmann, I like. So I think they're going to find a good center, regardless who they pick out of those guys that we just mentioned.
Tell you what, guys, I will leave you with this note, and that's all. If they can find that staple at center and they address that position once and for all, and we get the guy, the Giants are in great shape to not have to worry about their offensive line for many years to come. Obviously, it depends on Neil if he excels, but I'll leave it on that note. If they could pull it off with any of these guys that we just talked about, we're set.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that. And another thing you want to keep in mind, and we don't know this, it's the guys Shane and Dable. They may draft a guy who can play tackle as well and guard, just in case Neil struggles. They could do that as well in the later rounds.
They could. Bust proof. All right, guys, real quick. So, Mark, this is a question that we tell you what, Mark, let's address that when we have Craig on for the tight end spot.
Yeah, Craig is coming on. I don't know. We're gonna try to get him on next week. We'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know if he will, but we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna try to talk tight ends, obviously, and we're all talking about the Notre Dame guy, Michael Meyer.
So listen, so are we all in agreement that we can see the Giants forget about the free agency, taking 2 linemen in the draft? Do you guys see that?
With all their picks? Yeah. I in fact almost purely expect them to take 2. I wouldn't even be surprised if they took a 3rd.
Yeah, I agree. With all the picks. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We're getting there. We're almost fixed, guys. It's almost done. With the years of suffering and watching crappy offensive line. This O-line feels like the Giants in 2011 when they won the Super Bowl. Like, this is what it feels like right now in the state it's in. We could use a little bit more talent. That was the first year in the decline of the Giants' offensive line entirely. People say it's 2012. It's not. It's 2011 when we lost O'Hara and lost Soybert. So I think we're getting back. Like the entire trench, we're almost out of it. I can see the light.
Yeah.
Get a good center. We will execute. Giants fans, thank you all so much for tuning in. Love and appreciate every single one of you. And Chris, thanks for coming on here and killing it with all the analysis about the notes that you took the last week. I saw you scroll through there.
Well, that's because I had a crash course it. I'm not up to speed as much as you guys, so I was a little intimidated, but I got on the horse, pretty quick.
Hey man, Mark, we expect the same out of you when you come on in a couple of weeks, my man. All right, guys, take care. God bless. Have a great night.
All right, see you guys.
See you guys.